Hello students, today we'll be discussing the biology CUET paper. First question, analogous structures are a result of. Analogous structures are a result of convergent evolution. Homologous structures are a result of divergent evolution. So option A, convergent evolution is correct. Question 2, which of the following does not affect Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium? Natural selection, genetic drift, and gene migration, these are factors that affect Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. Gene pool uh, does not affect Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, so option C is correct. Which of the following primates was more like an ape? Out of the following options, Dryopithecus was more ape-like. Nucleosome is associated with dash molecules of histones. Nucleosome is associated with 8 molecules of histones. Next, select the observation drawn from the Human Genome Project which are correct. The Human Genome Project contains 3,164.7 million base pairs, correct. The average gene consists 3,000 bases, correct. Total number of genes is estimated at 30,000, correct. The functions are unknown for over 50% of discovered genes, correct. Less than 2% of the genome codes for proteins, correct. So all these statements that are given, A, B, C, D, and E are correct. So option D is the correct option. Next, we have to match list 1 with list 2. So anteater with numbat, bobcat is with Tasmanian tiger cat, lemur is with spotted cuscus, and flying squirrel is with flying phalanger. So option A represents the correct option. Next, identify the incorrect statements. Intestinal perforation and death may occur in severe cases of typhoid infection, correct. Common cold is caused by rhinoviruses, correct. Lips and fingernails may turn gray to bluish in color in severe cases of pneumonia. This is also correct. Pneumonia is caused by salmonella. This is incorrect. Salmonella is the causative agent for typhoid, Salmonella typhi. So this is incorrect. Typhoid fever could be confirmed by Vidal test. Yes, this is correct. Vidal test is the confirmatory test for typhoid. So out of the options that are given to us, only option, so this is going to be D and this is going to be E. So option D is incorrect. Rest all are correct. So we have to go with option C, D only. Next, question number 8. Question number 8 says we have to match list 1 with list 2. Cytokine barriers, interferons, physical barriers, mucus coating. Then we have cellular barriers, phagocytosis, and physiological barriers, tears from eyes. So that makes option D the correct option. Next question, SMAC is chemically diacetyl morphine. So option A is correct. Antibodies are secreted by B cells or B lymphocytes. So option B is correct. In sewage treatment, flocs are the masses of bacteria associated with fungal filaments that are formed during sewage treatment. So option C is correct. Next, we have to match list 1 with list 2. So statin is produced by Monascus purpuris. Streptococcus is the clot buster. Swiss cheese is produced by Propionibacterium shermani. And cyclosporin A is produced by Trichoderma polysporum. So option B is the correct option. The beetle used as a biocontrol agent for aphids and mosquitoes is ladybird. Right? Ladybird and dragonflies both are used as biocontrol agents for aphids and mosquitoes, but here they have asked beetle, not a fly. So option C, ladybird will be correct. Next, downstream processing involves purification. All the purification processing it comes under downstream processing. So option D is correct. Next, which of the following is not correctly matched pair of organism and its respective cell wall degraded enzyme? Fungus with chitinase is correct. Plants with cellulase is correct. Bacteria with lysozyme is correct. Algae and methylase is an incorrect combination. Methylase cannot digest the cell wall of algae. So option B here is going to be correct. Next comes question 16. We have to arrange the following steps in transformation of bacteria in sequence from initiation to end. So first will be treatment with divalent cations, then incubation of rDNA on ice, then heat shock treatment, again place on ice, and selection of antibiotic containing agar plate. Next, which of the following statements are incorrect? So we have to select the incorrect statements. Fragments of DNA can be separated by ELISA. ELISA is not used for the separation of DNA. It is a diagnostic, it's a method of molecular diagnosis of various diseases. Transformation is a process through which a piece of DNA is introduced into host bacterium. Correct. Recombinant DNA technology does not involve isolation of desired fragment. This is incorrect. Recombinant DNA technology, one of the initial steps is isolation of a desired DNA fragment. DNA ligases are used for stitching DNA fragments into a vector. Yes, this is correct. So option A and option C are incorrect. So we'll go with option A and C only. Next, which of the following statements are true? So we have to select the statements which are true. Milk obtained from rosy is nutritionally more balanced for human babies than natural human milk. No, than natural cow milk. So this is incorrect. Biopiracy refers to the use of bioresources without proper authorization from NNCs. No, without proper authorization from the country or the organization or the people that are concerned with that traditional knowledge. GEAC is decisive body for safety and validity of GMOs and GM research respectively. Correct. Transgenic animals help us to understand the contribution of genes in the development of disease. Correct. So C and D here are correct. Next, we have to select again, we have to match the following. So first is alpha-1 antitrypsin is used to treat emphysema. Then we have Cry1AC, cotton bollworms, antisense RNA, myeloid incognitia, and Cry1AB with corn borer. So option A, option 1 will be correct. Next, expand GEAC, Genetic Engineering Approval Committee. Option D is correct. When an insect feeds on the BT plant, the insect dies due to the conversion of inactive protein into active protein because of the alkaline pH of the gut. So option A is correct. Next, again, we have to match list 1 with list 2. So commensalism is when one species benefits, the other remains unaffected. Then we have a mutualism, where both the species are benefited. Then we have amensalism, in which one is harmed, other is unaffected. And then we have parasitism, in which one species is benefited at the expense of others. So option B, option 2 will be correct. In a country at any time, the population has the same number of young and mature ones. What type of growth does it reflect? Having the same members in pre-reproductive and reproductive age will make a population stable. So option C, stable, is the correct option. Two closely related species can coexist indefinitely and violate Gauss's competitive exclusive principle by resource partitioning. Option B is correct. The process of mineralization by microorganisms helps in the release of inorganic nutrients from humus. Option C is correct. In which, this is question 26, in which ecosystem is the biomass of primary consumers greater than the producers? So in aquatic ecosystem, the biomass of primary consumers will be greater than the producers. Next, choose the correct statement with respect to decomposition. Decomposition is an anaerobic process. This is incorrect. It is an aerobic, it's an oxygen requiring process. Decomposition rate of detritus depends upon the chemical nature of it. Correct. Water soluble Organic nutrients, no. Inorganic nutrients go into the soil and get precipitated in the process of bleaching. This is incorrect. Humification follows mineralization. So option B and D will be correct. So we'll go with option A. Again, we have to match list 1 with list 2. So standing state is the amount of mineral nutrients in the soil at a given time. Secondary productivity is the rate of formation of organic matter by consumers. Then standing crop is the mass of living matter in a trophic level at a given time. Net primary productivity is the available biomass for the consumption of heterotrophs. So option C is going to be correct. Read the passage carefully, give the answer to the next 5 questions. India was amongst the first countries in the world to initiate action plans and programs at a national level to attain total reproductive health as a social goal. These programs, called family planning, were initiated in 1951 and were periodically assessed over the past decades. Improved programs covering wider reproduction-related areas are currently in operation, creating awareness among people about various reproductive-related aspects and providing facilities and support for building up a reproductively healthy society are the major tasks under these programs. Which of the following is not a sexually transmitted disease? Filariasis is not a sexually transmitted disease. Which of the following statements is incorrect with respect to medical termination of pregnancy? They are considered safe during first trimester. Correct. It is legalized in India from 1971. Correct. MTPs can be performed even after 24 weeks. Incorrect. MTPs cannot be performed after 24 weeks regardless. About 20% of the total number of conceived pregnancies undergo MTP in a year globally. Yes, around 1/5. So that brings it to 20%. So option C is going to be an incorrect statement. Next, we have to match the 2 columns. So firstly, zygote intrafallopian transfer will be the transferring of a fertilized egg up to 8 blastomeres in the fallopian tube. Is with 3. ICSI, intracytoplasmic sperm injection, is the formation of embryo in vitro by injecting sperm directly. So B is with 1. Then IUI, intrauterine insemination, transfer of semen from a healthy donor into the uterus. C is with 4. And intrauterine transfer is the transferring of embryo with more than 8 blastomeres. A is with 3, B is with 1, C is with 4, and D is with 2. So option B here is going to be correct. Next, which of the following methods of contraception is not meant for females? Intrauterine device is meant. Lactational amenorrhea, yes. Condoms, yes. Vasectomy is not meant for females. It's a surgical process for males, not for females. So option C is correct. Next, Saheli, an oral contraceptive pill, also known as once-a-week pill, was developed by CDRI. Next, read the passage carefully and answer the next 5 questions. Does the number of species in a community really matter to the functioning of the ecosystem? This is a question for which ecologists have not been able to give a definite answer. For many decades, ecologists believe that communities with more species generally tend to be more stable than those with less species. According to the International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources, IUCN 2004, the total number of plant and animal species described so far is more than 1.5 million. Next, which of the following is not a characteristic of a stable biological community? It must be resistant to invasion by alien species. Yes. It should not show too much variation in productivity from year to year. Yes. All the species are equally important in a stable community, and absence of any one leads to its instability. No, there are some species that play a much more important role, known as the keystone species. It is resilient to occasional disturbances, whether natural or man. Yes, so option C is not a characteristic of a stable community. Next, in rivet popper hypothesis, the rivet signifies species. Next, the scientist who proved that species richness directly correlates with the stability of the community was David Tillman, option B. Next, among the vertebrates, which of the following is the most species-rich group? B, fishes. Next, the following are the various hypotheses proposed in explaining the greatest biological diversity in tropics, except temperate regions are subjected to glaciations, but tropical latitudes have remained relatively undisturbed. Yes, tropical environment have more humidity, moisture, which helps in the diversity to flourish. No, tropical environments are less seasonal and more constant. Yes, there is more solar energy available in the tropics, which contributes to higher productivity. Yes. So option B is not a proposed hypothesis. Cells in the mature pollen grain are vegetative cell and generative cells. Option C is correct. Next, we have to match list 1 with list 2. So, filiform apparatus guides pollen tube into the synergid. Tapetum nourishes the pollen grain. Exine is made up of sporopollenin and funicle attachment of ovule to the placenta. So option B is correct. Primary endosperm nucleus is the product of triple fusion. In humans, mammary gland is divided in approximately 15 to 20 lobes. Option D is correct. Sex in human embryo is determined by whether X or Y chromosome is received from the father's side, because mother consists of similar X groups. So sex in human embryo will be defined by X or Y chromosome of the sperm. So option B is correct. Arrange the following stages of oogenesis in order of their occurrence. First is oogonia, then primary oocyte, then secondary oocyte, finally O. So B, C, D, and A. B, C, D, and A. So option B is going to be correct. Next, which of the following pair of contrasting traits was not studied by Mendel? Pink and white flowers were not studied by Mendel. Inflected and constricted pods, yes. Axial and terminal flowers, yes. Green and yellow flowers. Right? Pink and white flowers were not studied by Mendel. Option A is correct. Failure of chromatids to segregate during cell division results in aneuploidy. Select the correctly matched pair about sickle cell anemia. So in sickle cell anemia, both the diseased genes will cause a diseased condition, whereas one of them is going to cause a carrier condition. So this is normal, this is carrier, this is diseased, and this is carrier. So C and D only are correct. So option A, C and D only are going to be correct, right? Next, match list 1 with list 2. Sutton and Boveri, chromosomal theory of inheritance. Student is going to be with the discovery of genetic maps. Then Henking, X-body, and Griffith transformation in bacteria. So A is with 2, B is with 4, C is with 1, and D is with 3. So option A here is going to be the correct option. Which of the following statements are incorrect with respect to nucleotides? Now, this is a question that I think can be challenged, because purines and pyrimidines are nitrogenous bases. This is correct. Nucleotides are non-enzymatic molecules. This is incorrect. Nucleotides can behave as enzymatic molecules. Phosphate group is linked to OH of 5' carbon of nucleoside through phosphodiester linkage. In RNA, every nucleotide residue has an additional OH group present at 2' position in the ribose. This is also correct. And thymine is an example of pyrimidine. This is also correct. So if we look at it, only option B seems incorrect. Rest of the options seem correct, right? So this is something that can be actually, challenged. So next, arrange the steps of DNA fingerprinting in the correct sequence. First is isolation of DNA, then digestion by restriction enzymes, then transferring of separated DNA to a synthetic membrane, and lastly, hybridization using labeled VNTR group. So option C is going to be correct. So that was all. Thank you so much, everyone.